Well, what I'd like to do this morning is I want to touch on our theme, purpose and power. But I want to put the conversation and I want to put the talk in the context of the battle that we're engaged in. How many of you know we're living in a pretty intense battle these days? Raise your hand. How many of you feel it in your bones? Well, I want to tell you, just this past year, Archbishop Vigano, the papal nuncio to the United States, to the bishops in the U.S., took a quote that Pope John Paul II had given in 1976 when he was still a cardinal and he was here visiting the church in the United States for the Eucharistic Congress in Philadelphia. And this is what he said. He said that we're now entering into the final conflict between the gospel and the anti-gospel. And that the whole church today is being drawn into that conflict. And this conflict, he said, is in the will of divine providence. And he said he believed that wide circles of the American culture didn't understand it and didn't see it. But that's what is unfolding in our time. How many of you feel like you can see that battle unfolding? He said between the gospel and the anti-gospel, the church and the anti-church, and he said all of God's people are called to enter into it. So, and then less than 2 years later, he's elected Pope. Do you think that's an accident? Pope Benedict XVI, in reading the signs of the times we're living in, put it this way. He said, in vast areas of the world today, the faith is in danger of dying out, like a flame which no longer has fuel. He said what is happening is that God is being pushed from the human horizon by human beings. God is being pushed from the human horizon. And he said when God, who is light, is pushed from the human horizon, what is left? And he said as a result, humanity is losing its bearings, and it's having many destructive effects. How many of you occasionally these days feel like humanity is losing its bearings a little bit? Losing a sense of the fundamentals, losing common sense, losing a sense of what we all assumed and we all believed and held for so long. So many things that are fundamental, that we grew up understanding to be fundamental to a healthy society, to a healthy life, and to a healthy church are being called into question.